Okay, today is all about Democracy Day. Yes, and of course, we're taking a look at the economy of this administration. Are we performing or underperforming since the inception of democracy? Yeah, 1999, talk about June 12, 1992, MK Abiola, election, death, burial, Nigeria continued. We have Abdul Salami Abubakar, then first president, democratically elected president since 1999, Obasanjo and all that. The economy, in retrospect, what we have, are we really performing or underperforming? Joining me via Zoom, yes, I have a business analyst, public affairs commentator, and of course, as a rector. Right, I hope I'm making a mistake by saying that of Shaka Poli. Join me to welcome Jimmy Oko. Jimmy, how are you doing this afternoon? Can you hear me?
I am fine. I'm fine. Thank you very much for having me.
All right, all right. Thank you so much for being a guest on today's edition of Business This Week. Quickly, let's dive into the reason why we are here. Yesterday, Nigeria celebrated Democracy Day, and we have been talking so much about this, but from the angle of the economy, what do you feel about it since the inception of democracy up to this particular moment? As a country, as a nation, how do you think we've been faring so far, economically speaking?
All right. Thank you very much, my dear brother. I think the truth is that we are happy that at least we have something called democracy, even though it is not exactly what we actually are happy about. But at least there is an idea in the first instance that there's our people have started to appreciate that there's a better system of government somewhere that we should have done, and that is something to be happy about. So we are not extremely happy because of how far we've been able to integrate the system into our own ways of doing things. How it has affected the economy? Yes. Now, from 1999 to now, well, a period we are celebrating, having uninterrupted democracy. One thing is the area of economy, how we have been able to manage our wealth as a nation, just like Adam Smith called the wealth of the nation. How we've been able to manage our resources, how we've been able to manage what God has given to us for the betterment of people, for the good of the people that are in our country. The truth is, before democracy started, it has been military. And do not forget that even before we started ruling against the independence stuff, we were not happy. We felt that people who are not from our land, strangers, have come to take away what God has given to us. Yet we are poor, but they rob us of what belongs to us to develop their own places. And now the transition started. We were happy that we were able to take over and say, yes, we are now ruling ourselves, but yet under military. But yes, the disadvantage of the military system was that we have people who cannot settle down to actually make decisions, who are not really experts, people of in uniform rather, who come to just make any decision, hasty decision, whether well thought out or the other. But now we transited into a system, democracy, a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, which means that the well-being of the people should be paramount, which means that what the people get, the wealth of the individual citizen, should be of concern for those in government. But now, how far have we been able to achieve that? I think it is it's woeful, it's decriable. The government has not been able to do so much in 1999 as regards economy. Now, there is a problem that has always disturbed our economy, the issue of relying totally on importation. Lack of productivity in Nigeria. Since 1999, how far have we been able to do that? That question has no good response at all. That we have only had government that paid to do the needful in the area of stimulated production in the country. Many, if you look at it, our GDP has not grown so well. Since 1999, we have suffered a worsening inflation year after year. Our inflation continues to rise. Then you talk about the exchange rates, which is an indication for a great economy too. The exchange rate since 1990 now has been going from one worst rate to the other, to the extent that a naira that used to be 60, a dollar that used to be 65 naira, 40 something naira, has now risen to 1,600 and something, to almost 2,000 naira. That shows that from 1990, now a period that is far less than 30 years, we have destroyed our naira from, just talk about where we are coming from, around 40 something naira to dollars, 50 something naira to dollar, up to the top of the ladder, almost 2,000 naira to the dollar. All of these are signals of poor management of the economy by those in the government since democracy started. Then talk about the dependency, the over dependency on oil revenue in the country. The handlers of our economy, those in government, have not been able to diversify the economy since 1990 now. It is something regrettable as well that up till now, since 1990 now, the minds have been opened for the leaders. The options have been thrown up to the leaders. The alternatives have been thrown up to the leaders under democratic dispensation to start exploring other ways, different ways to sit down and make choices, to call people to round table, to call experts and think out the best ways to grow our economy. It means all of these have not been able to help us diversify our economy. We still talk about oil revenue today, bringing more than 80, 90% of our total revenue as a country. That is quite declarable. A country that is so blessed with resources. We have solid mineral. We have, the aspect of agriculture. It has continued to decline. For instance, the issue of cocoa. Mr. Wisi, I know that you understand how much Nigeria got from cocoa years ago. But since democracy started, everything has been about what do we get from oil. The cocoa used to be one aspect. What about cotton? What about cashew? Money from cashew? What about rubber? All of these aspects of agriculture were actually giving the country so much, even under military then. But at that point, we were still not satisfied. We were still looking for more diversification. We felt that under democratic regime, we will have more coherent leaders that will sit down and have well thought out the decisions to diversify, but it has even gone worse.
Okay, you just hold on now. Jimmy, if you take a look at the economy, some of the opinion that this administration is making concerted efforts to bring Nigerians back to that particular position they used to be, economically speaking, vis-a-vis. You get to hear about international relations. You get to hear about economic partnership. You get to hear about resurgence of the economy. For instance, begin to have this standard relationship with China. China right now is saying that Nigeria and some other African countries can export goods to China without tariff or taxes on this particular goods. I don't think that that is a plus to this administration.
All right, thank you very much. I laugh sometimes when our leaders are taking steps. If we want to take steps, we cannot be taking, you won't give birth to a child today and be pursuing that child to go and get a university degree. The first is to start from kindergarten, get that out, primary school, all of them, before you get there. If you go out seeking relationship with China and some other bigger countries on how to, on business relationship, and if the business relationship starts, what do you have to bring to the table? That's the question. You do not have anything to bring to the table. Our manufacturing sector is zero. We are not producing anything. If we do not have industries, we don't have factories. I wonder where the things are. Or is it to keep is it the exportation of crude oil we still talk about? If it is exporting crude oil that the Nigerian government is still looking for international relationship for, then it means it will be a sad reality. So we'll be talking about oil this time. How many? We have states in Nigeria can boast of 5 factories where things are produced. How many? How many industries do we have in the country where things are produced? But the raw materials are there because the government will not create an enabling environment for industries to thrive. The government will not create an enabling environment for people to be attracted into production because, for example, there is no light from 1999 till now. No, the government that has said, no government since 1999 have said, yes, let us have constant electricity. If we do not have electricity, how are people going to produce? Because that is the hub of everything manufacturing. Nothing like that. No good roads, nothing. So at the end of the day, you go for international relations. And I must tell you the truth, that there is no development of the Nigerian economy that is going to come from international relations. No matter how you sugarcoat the relationship, there is nothing that is going to better the Nigerian economy from international relationships. The reason is because the partners are wiser, they are smarter. I mean the partners that you have overseas. For example, you are having relations with America, with the UK, with China. These are smart countries. They are where you have not gotten into. They have the factories, they have the production, they have everything. They have experienced what you have not even dreamt of. And you are coming to the table to negotiate a trade agreement with them, business arrangement with them. These people have seen what you haven't seen. Because of that, they have advantage, better advantage to sign, to get certainties from that agreement. When we sign, you don't have anything to bring. They have. So at the end of the day, the whole advantages are for them. So there is nothing that will bring a person from another country to sign an agreement with you, if not that he's going to get benefits. But the benefit Nigeria should get from all of these international relations are not enabled because of our the state of our production, because we have nothing to bring to the table. So for now, I think Nigerian government should stop disturbing, they're spending taxpayers' money on a trip abroad, trying to do whatever relation. No international relation will stimulate our production. If
but all these trips abroad is to attract investors. I don't think that will change the narrative.
You can say it from 1999 that we spent, if not trillions of naira that we spent on a trip abroad, trying to woo investors. Every day they speak English, want to woo investors to come to the country. What has it taken us to? There is no single factory, there is no single industry, there's no sector of our industry that we can boast of, that we can say is functional. This one came from social country as a way. No, okay, look at it. If you bring the investor, Mr. Wisi, let us tell ourselves the truth. If you travel to China, if you travel to the US as a president to bring investors, if you were the American investor, somebody is going to come to Nigeria, would you prefer to invest in Nigeria to build, would you prefer to build a manufacturing a company in Nigeria, a plant in Nigeria, a manufacturing plant in Nigeria, and be paying for diesel every day, be paying for fuel every day, or you would prefer to go to that country where the cost is minimal? There is no investor in the world that wants to spend, to waste money. Every investor does what is called cost analysis. So when they do cost analysis, it is when it is cost benefit analysis. Where the cost benefit, there is where they go. You don't speak English. You don't speak English to investors to come. You do something to attract investors. When you make a minimized cost of production, investors will be attracted to your country.
All right, Jimmy, you just hold on. You just hold on. Hold on. I want to go for a break. When we return, we'll continue with this discussion, because it seems like we are just saying, or you are rather saying, that we are underperforming economically. Well, when we're reaching up to this break, you're going to throw more light to the reason why you are having this strong opinion. Do stay, we will be right back. Thank you so much for staying tuned. If you just joined us, this is Business This week. We're taking a look at Democracy Day, Nigerians' economy. Are we performing optimally or we are underperforming? Joining me virtually is Jimmy Yoko, Director of Shaka Poly. Jimmy, I'm coming back to you right now. It's like all you've been saying so far is that Nigeria is underperforming economically. Now, what do you think should be done to make us come up at least to have our own pride in the league, amongst the League of Nations?
All right, thank you very much. What to be done is a straight thing. The leaders themselves know, except that those in government, I do not want to share the view that they do not know what to do. I want to believe that it is what even a common sense man should be able to do. That number one, we want to be able to provoke manufacturing. There is no economy that can grow without manufacturing. What are we going to do to enable companies start manufacturing, start for people, investors, to start producing things in the country so that we can produce for ourselves, have enough to consume, and have access to export abroad? It is, number one, fixed electricity. How much does it take for a federal government to sit down and say we must fix electricity this year, 2 years? How much does it take for the members of the National Assembly to sit down and say, let us tell the executive 2 years ultimatum, we need electricity in Nigeria? There are countries that have done it. Nigeria has what it takes, more than what it takes. Nigeria has what it takes in many places to fix electricity. If we fix electricity, fine, everything will be good. If we do so, then the area of agriculture, the government should be able to attract people into agriculture. These days, when people graduate from school, you see many of these people in government, they start telling you there is no white collar job anymore. Go and do farming. The youth should go and do farming. It has become almost a song since after 1999, because those in government want to seize the position forever, and they want to guarantee the position even for their children's children. They will tell the other youth, go and do farming. But the thing is, these same people will go into farming. When they say they want to do farm, the government policies will not allow them. For instance, double taxations everywhere. Even when the government comes out to say, we have amended the Finance Act, we have amended this, we are going to exempt certain goods, agricultural products, but is it actually true? No. These people are still harassed. Then what does it take to fix security? Even as we speak, all over the country, people are saying they can't go to farm. No agricultural products. We are a country where we are encouraging people to go into agriculture. How can a sensible government sit down and contemplate in a year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years on how to stop people who have the audacity to go into farmland and disrupt farming activity? And the government cannot say, fine. For the past few years, what the major disturbance of farming in Nigeria is this farmer headers crashes everywhere. That the headers go to farm, they destroy farm products, use them to feed their cows. But at the same time, Nigeria does not export cow meat abroad. If we so value the cow business, Nigeria still does not supply that abroad. There are countries that have excess of it, but their cows do not move from farm to farm. They don't need to destroy farms. Our leaders should know this. Why is it that all over the world, different countries that go into animal husbandry, rearing of animals. They have what is called ranches. What is hard for the Nigerian government to say, let there be ranches if you know you are rearing animals like this? Then let those who are farming have their freedom to also do their farming. Why? The orientation has been coming up
All
for
right.
farming activities. But
Jimmy,
this
thank you.
issue of farmers license has been another issue.
Thank you.
Then,
Thank you so much, Jimmy. You've spoken at length. You're giving, pointers on how to make it better, because from what you opined, we are underperforming. You talked about power. You talked about security to stop farmers and herders clash so that the farmers can really go out there to farm to make profit. Well, I believe we're going to have other times to really delve more into this particular discussion. Once more, I really appreciate your coming. Though joining us virtually, I really appreciate you. All right. This is the much we can take from this edition of Business This Week. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Next week, Lorenzo Seafood will be on the ground to take you on another round of Business This Week. Bye for now.